environment. So yeah, you can do what you're going to do, but don't you do this. And so now we see here a eternal law that in order for me to move, release, I need something from you. I need something from you. And so throughout Leviticus, we'll see that these individuals had to have a spotted calf and have all these things, and they got to cut it this way and burn the fat and all. And now they've mastered that. They've mastered that. They would have certain calves come together to make a pure animal so that they can then sacrifice it, right? Because they were moving in the sense of this is how we obtain grace. So now we go into the new age where now we're screaming the blood of Jesus, absence of sacrifice. And so what he shared with me is that with this grace, we've lost on the concept of responsibility. We've moved in the mindset of I don't have to sacrifice. And so what happens is we get into the house of God. We start to move forward. God is proclaiming things. He's moving forward. He's causing us to go to another level. And then we are challenged. No matter how high you go, you're going to be challenged. No matter where you go, you're going to be challenged. If you say anything yes as it pertains to the government of God, the heavens concerned for the earth, once you move into a thing, there are going to be some challenges. And now I'm not speaking to the challenges of the enemy. I'm talking about the challenges of God. He's going to be addressing some things. He's going to be addressing some things. I truly believe that the Lord allowed me to get cut off by several cars to only hear that there's yet still some language in me that I died. So we're here. Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. There's yet some language in me, and I was surprised at me. Like, hold on, wait, you don't talk like that. Whoa, let me get a Coke. Let me figure this out. He's going to address some things. And then soon before I could say sorry, but soon before I could say forgive me, but soon if I can go into my, oh my goodness, he spoke the spirit behind it, rage. Deal with it. And so this is a season where God's going to start addressing some things because we have to be responsible. And so, yes, I was forgiven in that car, and I even prayed forgiveness for the person cutting me off, and I prayed their safe travels, and I even said, Father, just don't let them be stupid. And guess what? I was still operating in rage. And so he's going to address our responsibility. Even in prayer, we have to be responsible. He began to minister to me because in prayer, I would give him what I wanted versus seeking him on the matter. And so even as it pertains to relationship and family, if I can be frank, we're most of us are married or trying to get married. And so when you're trying to be one, but you're still two different individuals, there's going to be some moments where you disagree. And so I would take my disagreement to the Father and I say, she is acting like this, and not yield to hear what is really going on. And so he addressed me. You can't pray on her how you feel. My kingdom is not associated with your opinion. You are her shepherd. He's going to address us, and now you are made responsible. And so I've been responsible. I've been seeking his face as it pertains to my wife. I've been asking him, hey, listen, instead of being frustrated that she's not on the charts, instead of being frustrated that she's not in Africa yet, because I've been telling her to go to Africa for 7 years, Father, what is the holdup? And let me target that in prayer. Well, it's me. Okay, Father, well, I can't target you in prayer, so what am I supposed to do? Be still and know that I am God. All right. And so he's addressing some things. I'm in a season now where I'm going to say okay. I'm telling you that right now. He told me you better set the tone for the house, for the apostle, and for you and your wife, because there's a shift that's coming to this house, and it's not going to be a whole lot of conversation. It's not going to be a whole lot of debating and exchanging of what we should do. Because what's happening now is God is speaking very rapidly, even to those who just have the gift. He's speaking very rapidly and very clearly, and he's showing us some different things, and we just have to move. And so everything is not going to be a conversation. So what you're going to find is you're going to be frustrated if you're not hearing him too. Because what happens is I can tell you, let's get blue cheers, and because you think blue clashes with the yellow, and then we also want to do this, you're not hearing him saying we need to get blue. So now you're offended because you feel like your opinion doesn't matter when the Lord has spoken on a thing. Well, that's extra, Devin. Why would he speak on cheers? because he does all things well. All things concerning his house, his government, his people, he will speak on. He will speak on. I've walked into a store wanting a Coke while frustrated. He told, no, you get Gatorade, you're dehydrated. He will speak to that thing. But you have to be responsible enough to hear him and yield. He's calling us into responsibility. We pass out, God, thank you for your grace. Thank you for the doctor. Oh my goodness, they tell me to drink water. I love you. And then we go home and we cannot wait to pop open that favorite soda. We got the game on. We want the wings. We are moving in grace, absent of responsibility. And so now what is the root of this? How did we get to this point? It's because of idols. It's because of idols in our hearts and in our minds. Idols in our hearts and our minds. And so what he shared with me, he wants us to go to James, the first chapter, verse 22. And this is going to be a precursor to everything else that is going to be said by him. James, the first chapter, verse 22. Be doers of the word, and not hearers only. Otherwise, you're deceiving yourselves. And so now we've realized that we have grace, but we also need to be responsible. We know now, moving forward from this conversation, him to us, that we ought to be doers. Because moving forward, if anything happens, if you are confused, it is yourself. The information has been there. The training has been had. You've been given instruction on how to seek his face. You've received all the prophetic word from the first time you joined a visit. You have enough. You are barrels of water, and you are now responsible to hold yourself to that living word that's inside of you. At this point, if anything happens, you're deceiving yourself. So it's not enough word. The word wasn't for you. The style just wasn't your taste. You're deceiving yourselves. And this is across the board. No matter what house you go into, if the presence of God is there and he's speaking, that word is for you. That word is for you. So at this point, you're deceiving yourselves. All right? We're deceiving ourselves. I'm not absent of this. Amen. All right. So we're going to start talking about idols. We're going to start talking about idols. One of the things is his heart's desire is to call us to understanding. And so he gave me this. Let's first understand what an idol is and how it is for us and what that looks like and all those different things. So an idol, okay, let's go to here. I want to give you some information. Because we die not from a lack of zeal or anything like that. We die because we just don't know. We just don't know. We don't have knowledge. We got compassion, we be crying, we be swaying, we got all the moves, we look nice, we just don't know. Okay, so idol, an image or excuse me, hold up. Okay, an image or a presentation of a god used as an object of worship. An image or a presentation of a god used as an object of worship. All right, so now I read that and I was like, all right, cool. This can also be a person or a thing that we greatly admire or love. And so I started thinking about this, and he told me that one of the things that happens in church is that we just give power to everything but him. We just do. We shout because the enemy finally lost when he has already lost. Someone gets healed and it's like, oh my goodness, but we just said when you walk in the door, it's just healing here. So technically they were healed already. But, we defeated the enemy. Like, we just give power to everything but him. And so he shared with me that an idol is only powerful, or its power source is higher, lower, stronger, weaker, based upon what we give it, right? And so what he shared with me was even down to like little stuff like American Idol. How did they win? because we get up and we move our thumb to vote for them, right? So that energy placed to put them high, right, or to get them to win is the same spirit, it's the same mindset that we move in as it pertains to everything else in our lives. We won't be talking about sex, we won't be talking about social media, we won't be talking about those things. Those are already talked about, right? We're going to talk about some things within ourselves, right? Where we're dealing with, God is correcting us. He's giving us some clarity on the idols within ourselves. All right, and so now in the beginning we see him, God, addressing Jeremiah, saying, okay, what would happen? And then going into heaven, I been, this awesome God. And so I asked, why do we stray away? What makes us give all of our energy to everything else? And so I read again, and one of the things that he mentioned was, okay, first, what made your ancestors stray away? So now he brought to my attention that the generations before us, and they all have different names. I think one is like the baby boomers and all these different things, right? That there's a generation that has dropped the ball. We know this, right? We just know this. He also went into saying, okay, that generation that went through all that turmoil, they didn't seek me, right? And so now God is addressing the fact that, yes, there has been tradition, there has been a generation that were more into being the greatest preachers than the greatest shepherds. We know this already. All of 2019 was surrounded by coming out of what our forefathers did to the church. So now moving forward in 2020, the Lord was sharing with me that now we have no excuse. We have no excuse. So he's extending grace, but with responsibility. Because what happens is that becomes an idol. That, I'm just trying to come out of religion. No, you're not. That's false. Like, you're out of it already. You've been under word long enough that you should smell religion. You should sense it. It should make your stomach hurt when someone's preaching and teaching and they're speaking nothing but carnal mess. There's nothing but jokes and laughter. You should feel uncomfortable. Why? Because you're out of it. You're out of it. Has anyone ever been swimming in a pool and then got into a hot tub? It is the most dramatic shift of events. And you're aware instantly. That's how quickly you ought to be aware of what spirit you're in, where you are. You should be aware, and because you no longer now at this point have an excuse. We cannot complain about what people didn't teach us. We cannot complain about what forefathers dropped us, what our husbands didn't say, who didn't encourage us. We don't have excuses, because what's happening is the excuse of what man didn't do is now being our idol. And what's taking place is now that's our way of living. I'm not going to do because they didn't. I can't say yes because, they didn't give me the resources. The Father is saying, there's no more excuses. That was a reason to stray away, yes. But now we have no more excuses. He doesn't want us. He wants us to be aware of the bondage that we're placing within ourselves. This is going to be a season where you're no longer going to be like, you devil. No, you're going to have to be like, my name. He's going to be addressing you. And if you go through this season, this is a more so foresight for you, so you can monitor where you are. If you're in a season, if you're in a place, if you're in a moment where you're doing, not doing, moving about life throughout the week, and there's not a moment where God addresses you, that's a problem. This word isn't for the, because we have so many excuses, the elect, or the chosen, or I moved about life like, okay, that specific word is for the office, so I don't have to hold myself to that standard. That specific word is for the office, so I won't believe that he can talk to me the same way. That I made critiques of what he's saying an idol. And so he wants to address that. Everything that's about to be said and everything that has been said moving forward in this house as far as Destiny's Global Ministries, not just here, in this moment from Devin, there's no excuse. Now you're held to that standard because you're supposed to receive it. If it wasn't enough said, if it wasn't, the definition wasn't clear, you're still yet responsible. Because you're supposed to seek first the kingdom of God. There's no middleman in that scripture. He does not mention that now you hold someone else responsible for your salvation, right? So he's making us responsible, not absent of grace. He's making us responsible because we're idolizing some things within ourselves. And once again, teachers have not done this, our forefathers have not done this, our ancestors have not done this. We came out of that long time ago. And so, as he was sharing with me that there has to be a dramatic shift in the way we think, he started revealing to me is one of the biggest issues of the reason why that we fall into, and we'll go into what those idols are, but we fall into idolizing things and people is because we don't know him. He shared with me that we know of him, and there's a difference. If I go to someone and I say, hey, you know what? Yeah, Sam can sing. Yeah, she can sing. I think she can draw. She can cook, you know. And I don't, that's like so surface, you know, based upon my experience. Yeah, she prophesied to me. Well, is she a prophet? Well, I mean, she prophesied to me. Like, that's what we're doing. We believe, we minister from the surface things of God because we don't know him. To know someone is a level of intimacy. I know the character of Sam. I just don't know her gifts. I know the character of my wife. That's why I put the ring on it. I could have been like, she's beautiful and all this. That's not knowing someone. Some of the pretty faces have some ugly spirits. That's not, and that's what we know. We know that his presence is beautiful and he makes me cry and I feel like I'm being held. And that's knowing of him. You don't know him because after the cuddling, after the being held, he's going to address you. But that gets cut off, right? Because we don't want to get into the character of God. We want to get into the expressions of God. There's been times where in my mind, I'm like, I'm speaking, or 8 times, thank you, Father. I'm speaking, and I'm prophesying, and I'm laying hands, and I'm in it, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I heard a tone unfamiliar. But because I didn't know him, it was surprising that he gonna talk to me this way. So he tells me to remove my hands off of this individual. And reveals, because I was yielding at that time, that I was in my flesh at that point. So everything was cool, but I got excited and I started praying what I wanted for this individual because I love this person. But the tone stuck with me all day. And I was trying to figure out, okay, wait, is this, because you're soft, you're kind, you're sweet, you're the alpha and omega. Yeah, that's all you know of me. I'm a Lord, I'm sovereign. Move, stupid. Like, that's how he deals with me. And that's a part of our God. He will address a thing. He will address a thing. And if we continue to read Jeremiah 2, you will see at the bottom, which I was asking him, do you want me to say any of this? At the bottom, he begins to really address the nation. But because we don't know him, we know of him, we miss out on so much. But this is one thing that we do know. He shared with me, we know our idols very well. How so? Let's think about drinking. When you feel a certain way, those who used to drink, you know what you want, how you want it. If you just want to chill, you might get a beer, you might get a wine. Because you know what that will do. You want to turn up, you want to just pass out, you'll get a vodka or rum. You know what it's going to do. You know that the Sprite is going to mix well with whatever. You know that the cranberry goes great with a splash of you know that. But if someone were to address you, or a demon were to address you, or depression were to address you and remind you of what isn't happening, then you don't know your God. We know our idols. We know our idols. For some of us that been around gangsters and all these different things and had a fixation for smoke, we know how to roll it. Listen, I've watched ignorant loved ones compete in the rolling of marijuana and debate that it has to be done a specific way to get a specific high. Because they knew what they wanted. They understood that this is this and this is that. And I know that I'm not going to even give you all the language for it, but this is this and this is that, and this plant does this and this plant does that. This is a body high. This is a mind high. This is going to make you take a nap. This is going to help with this. They know. So they go for what they know based upon what they know. They're familiar and in relationship with it. They're willing to even spend the last $10 that they have and go request $10 on Cash App or whatever to get gas to get where they got to go. Because they know. They're even willing to sacrifice for what they know. And they will address and go for and go into whatever their idol is, liquor, weed, into what they know. Some of us, if we're in a good mood and everything's going well and we feel like we're supposed to be doing something else, but I just want to watch a good movie. So what we do, we throw on our Adam Sandler, we throw on our Chris Rock. It's a whole lot of different generations in here. We throw on so many different things. I was a lover of South Park. I loved that ignorance. I knew the words. I knew how to do the expressions. I knew when Kenny was going to die. If you don't know the show, don't start watching the show. God bless you that here. But I knew these things, right? I was familiar with these things. But if someone were to tell me, hey, in this situation that you're in, being laid off, sitting, watching South Park, what do you think God's going to do? Well, he going to be God. As an elder, he going to be God. Like, the ignorance of that. Why? Because you just don't know. Because you don't know him. But you know that this is episode 3 where Kenny's going to die. He's going to die like this by getting hit by the car. It's saddening to him. Because then we wind up looking like that young lady. And we're trying to figure out, Father, why am I dried up? Why am I beat up? Why am I split inside? Why nothing is birthing out of me is because you've been giving yourself knowing everything else but me. You've invested in so many different things. You know your car. Listen, I got a button in my car. I know it. I know it well. I know it well. You hear me? I know it well. If you're moving slow, I press this button. I'm good to go. I'm good. Good. It takes nothing. Listen, it's right there too. I don't have to. I've gotten so good that as I'm driving, I don't have to look at it. I just press it, and the car just. I know this button. I'm familiar. Guess what? Get a ticket. Guess who I'm calling? Him. And I'm hoping I get off with the ticket, or the ticket's not over $100. I'm hoping. So I know the car. I hope for the God. Right? If it gets too bad, I will call my wife. I will tell her I'm sorry before I request anything. Hold on before you yell. The bell is this. I know she got it. I just feel like all wives have like a little tuck stash, and I have not found it. That's neither here or there. That's the thing. So I know I'm secure in that. But while I'm in that cell waiting for her to come, I'm hoping God brings me out of it. That's the person that is omnipresent, the person that has everything in his hands. I hope he does a thing. But I'm secure in my wife. I'm secure in the ministry. I'm secure in my parents. I'm secure of my job. I can go and I know if I work 2 weeks, I'm going to get such and such amount of dollars. I can make all the people that are on the higher staff laugh because I know I'm going to move up. But Lord knows, I don't know when this check gonna change though. I just don't know. Yeah, I heard the word. Supposed to be in management. I just don't know though. I don't know. But I'm familiar with getting up, going, and grinding. So I'll just take pictures until I'm insane. I'll reach out to different venues and I'll do all these different things because that's what I know. And that's what I'm gonna give my information, my energy to. Our God shouldn't be unfamiliar. You can invite him into your house, your home, your place of worship, and be unfamiliar. He should no longer be a guest. But it's because we don't know him. Because we don't know him. And so one of the things that he shared with me, reading Jeremiah 2 and moving forward from verse 1, I believe even to verse 6, he begins to speak on some things, and I want to go over it. I want us to start seeing even what God thinks of himself. So we're in Jeremiah 2. Okay, so one of the things, let's start with, let's see here. Okay, so the word of the Lord came to me. Go and proclaim in the hearing of Jerusalem. This is what the Lord says. I remember the devotion of your youth, how as a bride you love me. Now, I don't believe our God is just poetic, right? There's a significance to why he said as a bride. Why? Because he's the bridegroom, right? And so what does that mean for us? I was debating if I wanted to do this. So I'm going to do this in a way that it doesn't mess up things. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I had to catch myself. Prophet Brian, can you stand up for me? All right, so I want you to go to where Imani is. Stop it. All right, so I'm not going to do it. So Imani, perfect. So let's see here. So bridegroom, right? I want you to see this. Dun 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 dun. You got dun 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 dun. You got dun 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 anointed. Praise his holy name. Give us some dun 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 also. All right. So dun 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 dun. You can give us a little more value and say God bless you. So we got dun 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 dun. You're not marrying my wife. Bless his holy name. But you're me in my stead. I bless you. So what happens is the priest, or whoever is up here, right? Now tell me if I'm wrong. No, don't lock up, don't you lock up. I got you, lock up. Because that's not how that goes. if he's me, he goes first. As the bridegroom, right? So come on up. Swiftly, sir, swiftly. I'm trying to get the saints out. All right, yeah, let's just stand up front. Right? So now what took place was there was a way paved. Y'all hear me? There was a way paved. Because that's who he is. And then we come. So you can take your seat. God bless you. There was a way paved.
That's good.
There was a way paved. But because we just don't know him. That's how loving he is. He goes before. All right, everything cool. All right, cool. Q. Now you can come out and receive all the benefits that come with connecting to me. It's not just the ring. When I said yes to all the monies and all the cars and all my devotion. I said yes to hey, listen, you want to sing all over the world? Here's my investment into your joy. Here's my investment. That's what I said yes to. The Father is like, I'm paving the way because I'm saying yes to what I promised. But you don't see me this way. You trying to lock up and hold on to me, and you trying to just be a part of all the planning. You see how quickly they just locked up? That's what we do. Because we don't know him. We don't know the position he's playing that we need to get out the way. So now I'm uncomfortable. He's taking too long to get up here. So let me, excuse me, hold on, Father. I know. Now I'm going to marry me.
Wow.
Because I'm too tired. And I'm frustrated, and I need someone to take my hand in marriage. I need someone to take me. I need something to take me, other than what's the thing, the being, the perfect deity, the all in all to pave a way for me. So now I'm married. I'm in the business. I walked into something, and now it ain't working. right? Because I've skipped everything. I've jumped past him. One of the biggest things that I've been praying is, Father, don't let me go before you.
Amen.
Don't let me go before you. Pave the way for me. Because I understand that you are the bridegroom. You want to welcome me into a place. Not have to fight for it. And he's shown himself that way. Right now, and this is not speaking out of pride, but out of knowing the bridegroom. Okay, I want that to be your new language. The bridegroom, understanding him. He has paved a way. I've went to jobs and sat down. Hey, Devin, how are you? Da, da, da. We're so sorry for you being late. And heard him, you got the job. Let me just tell her about my business and all this. So let's just talk. Because he already set the tone. So I'm just going to jump myself at this point. I burnt the gas. I'm hungry. You know what I mean? I'm just going to talk to this person now. Because I understand I have the job. So then, God being God, he wants to give you benefits. He wants you to have connections. So if whoever you're marrying to, chances are they know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. You know, you have access to that. So guess what? This individual who was just supposed to be number one out of all these other people that I'm supposed to interview for begins to grab other people, and before now, she comes in, she tells them how nice I am. So not only does he pave the way, but he sets things up where you have favor now. So people are automatically coming into the interview like, I can't wait to see Devin. Wow. Because he set the tone. All I did was sit still. I didn't do no whole bunch of calling. I'm not gonna call you. I'm not gonna check up. Hey, do y'all know? I put in my application. I'm gonna let him pave the way. That's it. Pave the way. Because I'm not going to fight for anything or force anything into my hand when you're just trying to do it all. If only I would just walk down the aisle when you call me. Imagine service starts. Can you give me some dun 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 dun? Just a little dun 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 dun. Imagine in your mind. No, the wedding stuff. Thank you for all the wedding stuff. We're still there. Thank you, Jesus. So imagine we're all waiting for it to start, because of course weddings start late. And the first person you see is the bride. There is no anticipation. There is no build-up, the bride. And now this slinky, nasty suit wearing, ugly tie having individual walks up and you're like, okay, this is weird. You feel that it's out of order. You feel that it's out of place. Because there's an order and a structure to a thing. And this is what takes place. Everything is out of whack because it started off out of whack. How you start a thing is normally how it will proceed and how it will end. We have to be the bride. The bride that loves him, the bride that will follow him through the wilderness, the bride that will be holy for him, the bride will operate as if we are first fruits to the earth. We're not giving our pearls to swine. Understanding that if anything comes against us, he will allow it to be devoured, judged as guilty, be taken over. Our God still destroys. Our God still has wrath. That's one of the things that he shared with me, that, listen, they forgot I am still vengeful. I have wrath. I still will allow some things to break off in your life, to disappear, to dry up. That is my wrath. But my son intercedes where you don't die. And that's how that works. So a lot of the things where preachers would say, there's some things that you did that you could have died. Okay, yes, absolutely. You know, a little over-exaggerated, no information given of why. But here's the information. Our God is still that God. He's still the God that can destroy nations. He's still the God that can get behind armies and put forth his presence that they can win. That's the type of God that we still serve. He has not changed. It's the grace over our lives that have made things sufficient for us, where now we can survive this powerful God. As we continue to read, we find him once again speaking about himself. I'm almost done. And he goes on to say, let's see here. I want to make sure I find it. Okay, we're looking at the same word. You'll see that he says that you traded in your glorious God. Your glorious God. Your glorious God. And normally, as we're reading the Bible, you don't always see him talking about himself in such a way. He's making it clear that these idols that we put in front of ourselves are worthless, and in that process making us worthless. He's making us acknowledge the fact that we've traded something better than what we are invested into. We're technically downgrading. And we know it. We know it at this point. We're not being deceived. We know it at this point. And so what's taking place is right now, God is going to start operating in his glory. This is what he wants to reveal, that he's going to operate in his glory. You're going to start to see the manifestations of his glory. You're going to start seeing people, bodies, jerk and operate and twist and turn because of his glory. You're going to start seeing men in the middle of speaking begin to mumble and speak in tongues because the presence of God is in the house. And what he shared with me is that some of us we all have experienced the presence of God in the room as a collective. But some of us have not experienced the presence of God being upon us. And so he's going to start operating in that for his glory's sake. He's going to start resting on those who are yielding and have given themselves unto him, even their idols. He's going to start putting forth his presence in his hand upon his people for his glory's sake. He's going to really show us him. How so? So we remember that our apostle began to lay hands and say, you're going to see God, you're going to see God, you're going to see God. That is his glory. That is his glory. That is his glory. To see him is I don't know if you ever late night open the refrigerator, it's all dark, but it's like it hits you, and it's like, okay, wait, right? There's going to be he's going to address us with his glory. It's not going to be for the sake of you feeling good. For the sake of him proving that he's God. He's over that. Now he's going to address you with his glory. He begins to continue to go on to that he is the spring of living water. The spring of living water. And if we look at the picture, if it's still up there, which I'm pretty sure it is, right? She needs some water. She don't need a bottle. She don't. That was actually funny. I didn't realize how funny that was until I heard me say it. She needs some water. She needs some water. She's broken. She's dried up. We actually see she's corroding. She needs some water. And it's one thing to have your Aquafina, your Fiji, and all these different things, but none of those waters are living. They're distilled. Thank you, Father. They are filtered. Thank you, Father. None of these things are living. And the type of corrosion in our soul, the type of the depths of our pains and hurts, the type of things that we lift up and hold on to be our safety net, or some of us sleep is our idol. We get frustrated and got to take a big nap, and now the whole day is lost. Those things that we hold on to for the sake of our feelings, our comfortability, we have traded away responsibility. We have traded away our dedication, our devotion for comfortability. So as soon as we don't feel comfortable, as soon as we don't like what we like, we go to what we like and what works for us. And so it's corroding, it's creating infection in our soul, because all that happens is it just continues to build, it continues to build. And I want to share with you that these idols don't come by themselves. They never come by themselves. It's never just weed. It's never just alcohol. It's never just, I'm just mad right now. I'm in my feelings. It never comes by itself. It never comes by itself. They are an army. They hunt like wolves. They hunt like lions. Spirits come in packs. Spirits come in packs. How do we know? Because as soon as you take one out, the Bible speaks that they come back even stronger. So we know they already come in number. So you have no time to be inviting, to be in agreement with anything. Anything. You can't be walking around the house talking about, I'm just depressed, but it's going to be all right. No, you're not just depressed, because now you're depressed. Now you got pride. Now you got anger issues. Now you can't forgive. It comes like packages. It comes in packages. That's why when people go through deliverance, you see them at the altar once, and they're crying and they're shaking, and it's like, all right, boom. Then you go through deliverance again, and now they're throwing up. And we're like, okay, wait, but last week you were just up there crying. Because it's multiple things have to come out. It's never just my father left me, so therefore I just don't want to have a relationship with men. No, it's so much more to that. Because what comes with that is now you're prideful. You don't want to listen to nobody. Now you are unforgiven. Anybody promise you anything and they drop the ball, now you're reminded of your father. It's deeper. It's deeper. And what's happening now, the nation, the earth is at this point. Broken, dried up, frustrated. And even in this posture is completely prophetic because she's not looking at anything. She's not looking at help. She's not looking to see if it's help. She's within herself. And this is a depiction of us. As soon as it gets real bad, we look into ourselves. This is the new religion now. It's all about being self-made. Let's meditate. Let me better myself. Let me self-help, self-clinics. Get your massage, do your yogas, better yourself. Drink your teas, better yourself. There is no surrendering or reverencing any outsourced information. Right? It's about your chakras. It's about your chi. It's always about within you. And that is our idol. Whatever you have been surrendering to that is strictly about you and it has not been outsourced by God is your idol. Is your idol. If you're in conversation and you revert to yelling and hollering and getting smart, pride, being nasty, those demons are your idol. Because you choose to be nasty, you choose to be smart, you choose to roll your eyes for your comfort. And so that's the way you move about life. That is your idol. That's what you give your energy to, that's what you give your mindset to. That's if you decide to do anything outside of the will of God, and you make it your business to put other things in place. For instance, some of us don't not show up to church because we just don't want to show up to church. We show up to church because chances are we want to do something else. Even if it's not doing anything. That's your idol. Comfortability in your home, a chance to watch the game, your pillow. We got some new comforters. I bless God. I love these comforters. Yeah, that could be your idol, comfort. He's addressing everything. He's addressing everything. We have to be responsible. We have to be responsible. I'm going to stop here. And what I would love for us to do, I'm going to stop here. And if he wants me to come back to it, I will. Listen, we have to be responsible. The way we get out of this is are in our responsibilities. I'm going to do it quickly. Are in our responsibilities. Worshiping him, praising him, hearing his word, being doers of the word, having faith while we're doing it, having faith while in the middle of it, having faith at the end of it. This is how we get out of our idols. If you're worshiping him, you can't feel, as people, we compare a lot of stuff. I've been high, I've been drunk. There is no comparison to the presence of God. If you want to deal with an idol, it's in your worship. It's in your worship of him who is able. It's in your worship of him who is larger, who is bigger. You can know him more in your worship. He right now at this point, he is only your testimony. So if you've been healed, you don't know him any other way. So then you know of him. It's in your worship that you can access him. And that's why he made worship a responsibility. It's not an option. So as soon as you make up your mind that you feel away, so therefore you won't worship him, you're out of your responsibility, and now you are standing as an idol. And he will not have anything stand before him. And that's just one of a few things. But he's addressing that. Now here's the thing. We still have grace. We still have grace. We still have grace. There's the second half. Jesus goes on and to discuss that he's going to really go throughout the land and begin to do some things. And the Lord revealed to me that Revelation is playing out even now. And there are rumors of wars and things of that nature that we know of. And so what's taking place is God is trying to address his people and get them ready. Church is no longer about to be, this was a good time. This was a good moment. God is preparing the body. He's preparing the body. And so what he wants to do is address the whole man before he goes into laying hands and giving collars. What you'll find is that's a lot of people are not going to really start being anointed or appointed, or you're not going to see a whole lot of ceremony, because he's doing things quickly. And he's concerned for his people. Because he doesn't want elders, prophets, people that love him, that proclaiming his name, to walk around the earth and their soul looks like that. He is concerned for his people. He is concerned for his people. But with that concern comes not just his hand, but with instructions.